back to the Metro on 1019 WDET FM. I'm Tia Graham. Now, video games can be so many things. They can be an escape to other lands. They can be at the center of debates about the harms of playing too much, or they can help reimagine new realities and possibilities. But what happens when the tools used to entertain are used to teach teamwork within a community? When young people get the chance to use their imaginations at full power, the possibilities for what they can produce can seem limitless. Detroit at Play is a workshop series led by University of Michigan Taubman College at the University of Michigan. And last month, Detroit at Play teamed up with the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan to co-design video games with high school kids in mind. Detroit at Play, co-designing video games with Detroit youth, held an interactive exhibition showcasing and highlighting the teens' work and the collaborative efforts. Devaughn Washington is one of those teens who participated in the program, and Devaughn is in the 9th grade, and he's a student at the Success Virtual Learning Centers of Michigan, and Ishan Pal-Signh is the director of the Taubman Visualization Lab. Devaughn and Ishan, welcome to the Metro.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And it's so exciting to have young people. I love having the young kids on there. So we're going to get to you in a moment, Devaughn, but we're going to start with you, Ishan. These kids were really excited to create and have a good time, but I do want to talk a little bit about video games themselves. They've been under the microscope for decades now in terms of maybe harmful effects they may have, but you have found a way to teach kids to develop their own video games. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. I agree. There's been, a lot of issues or problems associated with video games. But I think what we were interested with a workshop like this is to have a kind of different relationship with technology and with video games. We use our phones, our laptops as a way of consumption normally, and even kids these days are constantly consuming on these platforms. So we wanted to turn that around to make them into creators instead, and show that you can change this relationship, right? You can use these devices not just to sit and wait and expect, but also to create and make the games that you love playing on your own, that it's not that far away. You're not ever too far away from creating that on your own. Yeah,
and Ishan, you hit on something that was really interesting there, because I'm very much interested in the way we're starting to use technology in different ways, and at least for so long it was the wild, wild west of technology and everyone used it in any way, and oftentimes it didn't benefit us, but now we can see the benefits of technology in our everyday lives. So can you talk about that just a little bit as well, the everyday adaptations of technology that we're seeing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think that there's I think in some ways we're seeing an easier access to technology as we're moving forward, but that can sometimes be dangerous because it can get into a passive relationship with technology, right? Yeah. You don't understand how it's made. You don't understand where the information is coming from. So I think these kind of initiatives that showcase a way that you can make with this, but also understand how things are made. How does this technology work? Try to get more to the basics of these tools. A lot of kids these days didn't grow up with these technologies developing. They were already developed in a certain way, right? I grew up with the dial-up internet and seeing that mode of technology. So I kind of understood, for example, how I saw the growth of the internet, but now it's here, right, in this way. So I'm really interested in, and I think all of us in this team were interested in kind of building curiosity of where this comes from.
Yeah. And we're transitioning here to talk a little bit about Detroit at Play itself, which is a really cool project that you all are going to be doing. We're going to talk a little bit more about Detroit at Play. But I do want to get to some of the students who were able to participate in the project that helped them co-design their own video games. Here's a quick clip.
When people play my game, I want them to think of Detroit. I want them to think of how they can make art, how they can take those ingredients in real life and actually make art.
Being able to make my own video game, my own idea out there about Detroit, that's really cool. How many other people can say they made a video game?
And as you can hear, these kids are excited about creating and being at the forefront of new technologies. So can we talk a little bit about the importance of giving students the tools to make things on their own? Like you were talking about it just a little bit now, but it's so important that they actually have the tools and know how to use them.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to shift to talk about just how we thought about this workshop itself. And so this initiative is a way of co-producing video games with these students. It was a series of really short series of workshops that essentially led towards an exhibition at the end of it. And I think the way we did this was first we introduced them to games. How do the games function? What are the base, what are the base elements of a game? And then we sort of made these students understand what it's. We expose them to cooperative games, so games that they have to play with each other to build something together. And since this, these games were about Detroit in a way, we were, again, I think like there's a strong sense of community within Detroit, and we wanted to see that showcase itself in not just the game, but also in the creation of the game. So these students, they got together as groups and decided what they want their game to be about, with its setting in Detroit. How does it function? What does the artwork look like? And then also cooperating with us as the team to figure out what this game looks like, how does it function, and sort of make their dreams come to reality.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the ways. That's how I kind of describe it. How did the manifestation come to be? But I do want to bring Devaughn in, because you just heard some of the kids speaking, and Devaugh's one of those students in ninth grader who happened to work on the project, and one of the projects that you worked on was called Junkyard Mayhem. Can you give us a little background about Junkyard Mayhem?
So yeah, the process of Junkyard Mayhem was basically like we were making a salvage game based off of like renovating Detroit. You know how like there's like a junkyards and abandoned houses in Detroit and stuff. So we were basically making a game where you could just like take parts from like a junkyard, because it's basically random and you can just get anything. So like metal, wood, copper, stuff like that. And you could basically just make different items and renovate like different houses in Detroit. And you could also like sell the different items that you make.
And that's such a sustainable way of looking at rebuilding or help remodeling the city of Detroit, which is really, really cool. So, Devaughn, are you a gamer naturally?
I would say so myself.
Yeah, you got a Switch, you got an Xbox?
I did.
So, you're already someone who understands games. You grew up with them. What was your reaction when you heard about this project? Were you super excited to be a part of it?
Actually, yes, I was, because I actually used to code, and I made a demo of my own website. I didn't get to finish it yet, though. So, I was actually super excited. No, I can't speak.
No,
I was
good.
super excited to make my own game.
Yeah.
And the basis of that, because I actually wanted to make one in the near future. So it was actually kind of fun making that. Plus, I made a lot of new friends anyway.
Nice. And just speaking for folks who are interested or heard you say, I code. What folks don't know about coding is the behind the scenes look of what our web pages may look like, or what a website may work, or how it may work. Coding is not an easy thing. A lot of folks, even myself as an adult who took coding classes, I've forgotten that language. It's a whole nother language. So could you talk about the importance, especially as you as a ninth grader, learning how to code so early on and taking it with you as you grow?
So actually, I was coding earlier than this. And the basis of coding is super weird, because you gotta make all of these commands and stuff, and it's like the different characters and stuff that you gotta use to make the computer actually operate is super weird, because if you get one thing wrong, it's just basically gonna shut down the entire project.
Yes. Tell me about it. There's times I would look and try to go on YouTube to figure the things out. So I do understand. Right now we're talking about the power of video games and learning. Our guests are Ishan Pal-Signh, director of the Taubman Visualization Lab, and Devaughn Washington, a participating high school student. Devaughn Washington is with us. He's a ninth grade student at Success Virtual Learning Centers of Michigan. Now, Devaughn, you just talked a little bit about community, your project, and taking scraps from a junkyard, helping to rebuild homes in different parts of the community. What do you think teens and your peers are looking to do within community? What are some solutions that you all are looking for?
So basically, in the game, we were looking for solutions to basically renovate different homes, so like more people could live in them instead of like scrapping them down for different land pieces, and then making those more like accessible or expensive to other people. So you know how like different abandoned houses like get torn down and renovated for different houses that become more expensive. We were thinking so like the abandoned houses wouldn't have to get torn down and made like more expensive. We would just be able to like basically live in them for a period of time and fix them up while you're in there, instead of just like putting all this money so you can finally get the house, and then also have to put more money into like furnituring it, instead of just getting the house right then and there and then putting more money into furnishing it.
If more people thought like Devaughn, I think the future is, I think we're set. If we all thought like this, I think we would be set, especially in the city of Detroit, who's going through so many issues with housing and lack of housing within the city. But I do want to bring Ishan back into the conversation so we can talk a little bit about just how you all were able to get this project connected with the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan and so many other groups. It's a large undertaking to have so many kids. It's not easy to work with a lot of kids. So let's just talk about how you were able to accomplish that and how you were able to fund it.
Yeah, of course. So the way we were able to fund it was it's part of the ARIA program at U of M. It's an arts research incubation program. And so we, as in, I keep saying we, but the team is essentially Jose Sanchez, Salam Rida, and Tori Smith, and I, and all of us are faculty at the architecture school at U of M. And we were all... we essentially started, we wanted to build this program or co-design these video games with high school students. And I think one of the really great community partners in the cities like this is Boys and Girls Club. And that's who we did it with. This is a Boys and Girls Club at Southeastern Michigan. And they were just, all these workshops were hosted within their space. And they were just key to helping us sort of build this program and understand the students better. Also, even before we started these workshops, understanding what the students might like, what are the ways they function within these workshops, what do they create, and also just in how do we build a productive form of making within such a short time.
Yeah. And you just speaking about the kids, I can see like a little glimmer of smile hitting your cheeks there, because working with kids is a special experience. So can you talk about working with the kids?
Yeah, I mean, Devaughn, I don't know if you want to jump in that, but no, I mean, all of us are faculty at the teach undergraduate and graduate school, but yes, high school students are a little bit different. I don't know. I think for me, this was a learning process because I think that as someone who teaches, whenever I teach a different group of students, it just teaches me so much more. And even though I might look, or I don't feel young, but I might look a little bit young. I think that like there's the generations younger than us are just different. The way they learn is different. The way they pick things up is different. So for me, I don't know if I have a big conclusion to it. It's things that I need to like process and understand better and help me become a better teacher because things have just changed.
And Devaughn, you talked about making a lot of new friends and like opening up. So talk about your time with it and being around other kids who were just like you, teens. I'm going to call you a teen. You're a kid. You're a teen. So other teens like you who were interested in technology and video game building and coding.
So yeah, actually it was a fun process because we were also learning, and it was actually more comfortable because there was like people who knew what they were talking about, people who could actually kind of understand what was going on there. And also kind of like correlate what different groups were going on and stuff. So the group that I was in, Junkyard Mayhem, it was like a different group of people. So it was Kareem and Devin Cook. I forgot Kareem's last. Oh, Kareem Shtick. And so basically we all had different ideas and we had to correlate into one idea. So it was kind of difficult to do that. So that was a part of the learning process. And then we also had to agree on different aspects of the game. So like one of the details in the game, Devin, he said he wanted to add cats into the game. So the cats would basically be an obstacle to get you stuck into a spot.
I just got a cat. Go ahead.
And we were also thinking of adding a dog so it could like chase the cat away and grab the materials. But the dog idea did get scrapped because of the coding aspect, and it would probably take too long. So we just ran with the cat idea to make sure it would at least be a difficult part of the game.
And when folks are listening right now, and I hope they're understanding that you're talking about designing a video game, which is something that most of us don't even think about even doing ourselves, but you're talking about it in such a casual way, in such a really free way. Can you talk about how much you learned about yourself as a young man working with other people and learning how to be a collaborative team member within a group?
So what I mainly learned is that I still have a lot more to go when it comes to communicating, because at first there wasn't we weren't really talking about much. We were just trying to hang around, see what else everybody was into. So when we first actually started to get comfortable with each other, that's when everything started to click, because it's you're in a group of kids. So it's not kids, but teenagers. So it's you're going to have a lot of that you don't agree on, but at the same time, the stuff that you do is going to make something more possible. So that's what I really loved about being in that group. And then I also loved hanging around with another group who did Art Alley.
Yep.
That's a different game. I actually worked with one of the other students for a different group. So that group, I'm still talking to them now. And what we were talking about was doing the coding event at the Boys and Girls Club. I don't think I went to a session yet, but I'm actually hoping that they did get to.
Nice. Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan has tons and tons of different auxiliary clubs that they offer, which are really, really cool. I think about the auto industry club that they have, as well as the fashion industry club. So there are so many cool outlets within the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan, and Devaugh's only talking about just one of those. But before I let both of you go, Devaughn, I want to ask you one last question. When we talk about Junkyard Mayhem and Art Alley and all the other projects that you saw created by your peers, and you think about your community, you think about the city of Detroit, in what ways do you see Detroit growing and being a better community for your future?
So I feel like Detroit is already a really good place for younger students in a way of not just a community aspect, but a learning aspect, because there are a lot of really good schools in the city of Detroit, or more in Michigan in general. So I feel like the way that our community is helping us get better is basically just by giving us more opportunities to be in different groups, communicate with each other, just basically be a whole as a group instead of being separated by age or what school you go to, race, ethnicity, stuff like that. And I feel like that's the best part of Detroit, because basically it's one of the most, how do I say this? It's basically one of the most together places of the U.S.
I often say that quite often. Thank you so much for that, Devaughn and Ishan. Ishan, before we let you go, what's next for Detroit at Play? You've had the co-designing with the young people. Are you going to see more young people partnerships coming up soon?
Yeah, we're hoping to expand this program, right? We want to, one of our ideas was what if we have this exhibition in a neighborhood in Detroit? Block party, barbecue in the summer. But otherwise, we're also looking to display some of this work at some art galleries. We're trying to see, and also what does Detroit at Play look like if you expand beyond Detroit? What does New York at Play look like? LA at Play look like? So we're hoping to continue this program and see where it leads us.
Nice. Ishan Pal-Signh is director of the Taubman Visualization Lab at the University of Michigan. Devaughn Washington is one of many students who participated in the video game project with Detroit at Play. He is a 9th grader, and Devaughn attends school at Success Virtual Learning Centers of Michigan. Thank you both for joining us on the Metro.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
From the WDET newsroom, former State House Speaker Joe Tate joins a growing list of Democrats running for the U.S. Senate. The Detroit lawmaker announced his candidacy Sunday. He faces a crowded primary election if he qualifies for the ballot. State Senator Mallory McMorrow, Congresswoman Haley Stevens, and former Detroit and Wayne County Health Director Abdul El-Sayed have all declared their intent to succeed incumbent Senator Gary Peters. Peters is not running again. All Michigan children under 6 are now eligible for free universal blood lead testing. Angela Medina from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says parents should have their kids' blood tested for lead at ages 1 and 2. And MDOT has closed westbound I-696 between Coolidge and Losser so crews can tear down the Church Street Bridge over the freeway. This closure is in addition to the long-term closure on eastbound 696 between M10 and I-75. The project should be finished by early next week. Coming up, Michigan auto workers, like the rest of us, will be impacted by President Donald Trump's tariffs. What do they make of his policy? We'll hear more about that from WDET's Quinn Kleinfelter. We'll be right back on the Metro. You all stay right there.